NCC Systemana Oro Tiki Potula. God is always giving man the way to know how God exists. And God showed man that it doesn't matter what God gives to man. Man is still in the dark as to how God exists. And except man found a way to know God's way, man could not know the way that God exists. God exists as everyone. God exists as everything. And every way that man came in this world, he left it without knowing that God exists as he exists, and that his own existence is the way that he was given to demonstrate that God exists as his all. We said to you that there are many things that the children of God do not know. And when you don't know things, you tend to fear what you do not know. And if man listened to what God told man, man would have come to the realization that fear is as a consequence of man not trusting in God. Fear is a consequence of man not trusting in God. God told man to place your trust in God, because God is the giver of all things. And when God is the giver of everything, God is able to make anything work for the good of man or for the demise of man. And so when God wanted man to place trust in God, God wanted man to realize that God, as the giver of all things, will not give anything to bring the demise of man. Place thou thy trust in God. Trust no man. God said they went the opposite way. Man started to place his trust in man, and man did not place his trust in God. And God always shows man, when he discovers that he had misplaced his trust in man, and he had encountered everything that brings suffering and fear to him, he turned then to God. And God says always unto man, who came first? Was it man or was it God? And if God came first, then place God first. If God came first, place God first. in all the activities of man on earth, whenever anyone came first, they were placed to be first. They weren't placed to be second, they weren't placed to be third, fourth, or whatever. They were placed to be first. And these things we have given you to teach. Let the children know that they suffered because they did not place God first. They experienced fear because they did not place their trust in God. And every way that man placed not his trust in God, he suffered at the hands of men. In closing the book of life, God closes the life of many. In every way that we have given you to speak and teach and preach, we showed everyone that it is us who speak and teach and preach from you. For the life you have and the life everyone has is the life of God in man. Everywhere man went, he suffered because he didn't place his trust in God. And when he placed not his trust in God, God showed man he had no faith in God. No harm, no danger, no demise can come to you when God is within you. And there were many who went saying, I believe in God, I trust in God, but there are some things that you need to know that might work towards your demise. And God said, well, hold on. If I am the all in all and the giver of all things, what could ever come to you that is not of me? What could ever harm you that did not come from me? And God said, every man came up in some way, in some form, in some way, learning that when he is in the company of people he loves, he learns to trust them. And when he trusts them, it is because he has placed his faith in them. And God said, I showed every one of my children that in the recent pestilence I sent into this world, so many of them who said, I love God, I serve God, God is my protector, God is my provider. They turned to man. For man said to them, we have this cure for this, and we have that cure for that. And God showed them, doesn't matter what you have. Nothing can work in any way except God gives it to work. And when you said to many of them, those of you who followed the ways of men and took the things of men, that you must ask God, that whatever it is that comes from it that is not of benefit to you, to remove it from you. And many of them did not know that they did not suffer the demise that many others did, because God did exactly just that, to show them the power of God, to take away from them that which was sent to destroy them. We showed everyone. We showed everyone that when God ordains that it is what must come from it to anyone, no man could have stopped it. It would take you out. It took many out. And the fact that many of you remain that you remain that way because God gave it the things that were sent into you to destroy you to be neutralized in you. And every one of them went singing the praises of the many who said, this vaccine will help you, this vaccine will help you, this will do that. They didn't say, God, it is because of you I survive. It is because of you that I am still here. And God said, you know, son, God told everybody, you all worship God with your lips. But as far as your hearts are concerned, they're far from God. Far, far, far. Everywhere you told them, if you place your trust in God, nothing can harm you. And the folly of man was always to assume that when things were given that work for the good, that it was because of man. It wasn't God. Well, who could have given them anything? Who could have given them anything but God? God said simple things, escape them. And God said, you know, the simple act of forgetting can bring catastrophes unknown to man. Just a simple act of forgetting. See, man prides himself on believing that it is because of him, not God, that this world still is surviving. That is what man thinks. And then man also thinks that because of what he believes to be his power, that he is powerful. I can make any man forget what to do. That is the right thing. And God said, you know, when you do it wrong, it will happen. Catastrophe. God can make any man produce the most dangerous catastrophe in this whole world. That's an all of you go and believing that it is because of man and not of God. Yes, and the time is coming. The time is coming. When all those who believe they're powerful and mighty and they can do this and they can do that, and God erases whatever they knew from them, they will never know what to do. They will never know what to do. Because no man understood why we said it's just by your spirit, not you. It's by your spirit, not you. That spirit is God. That spirit is God. And when God warned man that God has a terrible side, man still did not believe that the God that he created in his own imagination would not do that. All men wanted a God that suits their purpose. They didn't want a God that showed them that they came to suit God's purpose. And so every way that we show you the ways of many, you always tell them, I am my father and mother's son. I am no man's son. And whatever I give to you, I give it because my father and my mother in me gives it to give it to you. And so God said, you all must learn to humble yourself. You all must learn to accept that in every way you went, and you went to school, teachers tell you this, you accept it. You went to church, the priest tell you this, you accept it. Wherever you go, somebody tells you accept it. Why is it you have difficulty accepting that one of you, chosen by God, gives you the things that you need to know? No, so you tell them, because God knows a lot of them who listen to the things you tell them don't really know what you're telling them. Don't believe that whatever you're saying to them, it is God saying it from you to them. Tell them, you can't tell me what I can do. You can't tell me what I must do. For you don't even know the way that the God in you exists. So you don't know the way that God in me exists. I always give you the way to show them the way. And to show them why it is that God always told them, you're all in the dark. You're all in the dark. You remain in the dark. You have not learned to let go of all that which is of no use to you. All your doctrines can never save you from the things God sends into the world. It is God that will save you. No assurance of man can save you from the things God sends to you, because God is the giver of all things. And when you come to that realization that it is God and God alone who is your provider and your protector, you will then come to understand why God told you, don't place your trust in any man. God is all you have. God is all you ever had. And God is all you will ever have. God says to you always, they must listen. They must listen. But they must also believe. They must listen, but they must also believe. For every way that I, your God, have said to them, I am that I am that I am. I am that I am that you are. And when they come to understand what that means, they will also come to understand how God is that I am as they are. Because you are nothing without God. And so whenever we said to them, you are the way, tell them why. However way I am, you are. Every way you are, God is. Because you are nothing without God. You are all that you are because God is that way within you. Shilini anama arakoto sikit tulodo oratimarakare sipurukpo esilakarado. When they come to know the secret of God, they will come to know the way in which the mysteries of God exist in them.